Hola, ¿qué tal amigos? ¿Cómo están? Yo estoy bien, gracias. This is Profesor Pablo, and this is Learn Spanish with Profesor Pablo. This is going to be a retake. I just recorded this, but my microphone was not connected properly. It wasn't turned on. So here we go, take number 2. All right, this lesson is really good. You're going to learn how to say what has happened. It has snowed, we have won, what you have done, right? They have bought a new car. They have seen the movie. I haven't slept a lot lately. I've eaten a lot. Things that you have done and things that have happened. So it's a two-step process. We're going to take haber, which is the helping verb, like in English, like have studied, have eaten. It's that have. It's not have like to have time, to have money, to have friends. This is a different form of haber. In the present tense of it is has, hemos, han. Remember the H is silent. 2 steps to this process. Haber in the present tense, has, hemos, han. These mean I have, you have, he has, she has, it has, usted, you have, we have, they have, and you, plural, have, followed by a past participle. Now, what's a past participle? In English, we've learned the ing form of the verb, like trabajar is to work. Trabajando with an A-N-D-O at the end means working. Comer is to eat. Comiendo with an I-E-N-D-O at the end is eating. Well, now we're going to take trabajar and make it trabajado. Take the AR off of the infinitive and replace it with ado. He trabajado mucho. I have worked a lot. I have traveled a lot. He viajado mucho. We have bought a lot of food. Hemos comprado mucha comida. So we're using the has, hemos, han with a past participle. For ER and IR verbs, right? Verbs that end in ER like llover, comer, vender. You take the ER off and replace it with ido. Same thing with IR verbs. Salir, ir, dormir, and vivir. You take the IR off and you have ido. So llovido means rained, ed. This means eaten, left, slept, sold, and gone. Vivido means lived. In Spanish, it's really easy. Notice in English it's rained with an ed, eaten, no ed, left, no ed, slept, no ed, sold, no ed, and gone, no ed, but lived, ed. But in Spanish, it's so much easier in Spanish. You have ado, ido. 99.9% of the verbs in Spanish will follow this rule. AR's verbs will end in ado. ER and IR verbs will end in ido. The only ones that we have to concern ourselves with that don't follow this rule are listed here on the right, and we'll get to those momentarily. So let's take a step back. Haber plus ado, ido. It's a 2-step process. Let's take llover. To put it in the past participle form, llovido. If you're a baby and you hear llovido, comido, salido, then you know this is going to be dormido, vendido, and this is going to be ido, and this is going to be vivido. The brain, the language learning module that I talk about so much, it does it automatically for us. When you're a baby, you don't hear any grammatical terms. There are no explanations. You just hear the language in action, you absorb it, and then you start imitating, and then you start creating. And think of all the files we have already in our language learning module that we've learned. This is lesson number 41 or 42. We have learned so much already. It's already input, and so they're like Legos. You just pick, mix, and match and create language. So the same thing with AR verbs. If you're a baby and you hear nevado, llegado, then your brain is saying, okay, this is empezado, this is estado, and this is comprado. That's just how it works. But we're trying to give you tips and tricks to help you understand and learn it very quickly. Like I say, we don't have 5 years to incubate being a baby to learn to speak Spanish. All right, let's practice. It has rained. Ha llovido. It has not rained. No ha llovido. Comer. We have eaten a lot. Hemos comido mucho. Something very common. You hear people say, I haven't eaten yet. The word for yet is not up here, but we've had it. It's todavía. Todavia. Todavía. There's an accent on the I. Todavía. I haven't eaten yet. We say it all the time. Todavía no he comido. Todavía no he comido. If I want to say they haven't eaten yet, todavía no han comido. They haven't left yet. Todavía no han salido. Okay? Ya means already. Ya is already. If I want to say they have already left, ya han salido. They have already eaten, ya han comido. I have already eaten, ya he comido. Let's come down here, dormir. I have slept a lot. He dormido mucho. I have not slept a lot lately. No he dormido mucho últimamente. Lately. We're going to learn all those ly words coming up. Lately, últimamente. Let's take vender. They have sold their house. Han vendido su casa. Han vendido su casa. Let's say you're at a fair and you have a stand and you're trying to sell jewelry and no one's buying anything because the economy is not so good. There's not a lot of disposable money. And you say, I haven't sold a lot. No he vendido mucho. No he vendido mucho. Now, ir with a little squiggly, ir means to go. If you take the IR off, you have nada, nothing left. Just slap on the IDO right there. So I want to say to a friend, have you gone to Idaho? Has ido a Idaho? Have you gone to Europe? Has ido a Europa? Have you gone to Russia? Has ido a Rusia? Have you gone to Argentina? Has ido a Argentina? I haven't gone anywhere. Would be no he ido a ninguna parte, anywhere. No he ido a ninguna parte. Let's go with nevar. It has snowed. Ha nevado. It has snowed a lot. Ha nevado mucho. It has not snowed in a long time. No ha nevado en mucho tiempo. Llegar. Have they arrived? Han llegado. Calling your friend up on the phone. Have you arrived yet at the airport? Has llegado. I haven't arrived yet. There's that todavía word. Todavía no he llegado. Let's go empezar. The game has started. El partido ha empezado. The game has started early. El partido ha empezado temprano. The game has started late. El partido ha empezado tarde. Comprar. We have bought a new house. Hemos comprado una casa nueva. Hemos comprado una casa nueva. They have bought a new car. Han comprado un carro nuevo. Vivir. Have you lived at the beach? ¿Has vivido en la playa? Have you lived in the mountains? ¿Has vivido en las montañas? Have you lived in the desert? ¿Has vivido en el desierto? Have you lived in a big building? ¿Has vivido en un edificio grande? My parents have lived in many states. Mis padres, they han vivido en muchos estados. Estar, to be. Have you been there? ¿Has estado allí? ¿Has estado allí? No, I haven't been there. No. No he estado allí. You can use adjectives with it. I have been busy. He estado muy ocupado. Mom has been very busy. Mamá ha estado muy ocupada. The girls have been worried. Las muchachas han estado preocupadas. Now, after haber, this is the verb haber conjugated out. Anytime you have an ado ido word after haber, it's always going to end in o. and nothing else. However, ta-da, if it comes after a star, if you have an ado, ido word after a star, then it does change and it has to agree with whoever or whatever it is referring to. For example, the girls are worried. Notice I said, or the girls have been worried. Las chicas han estado preocupadas with an AS. Why? Because it's modifying back to girls. But right after haber, notice estado ends in O. Anytime you have an ado, ido word coming after any form of haber, it's always ending in O. No exceptions. When you have an ado, ido word after a star, it can end in O, A, OS, or AS. It's got to agree back to the subject. Now, triste means sad. Triste doesn't end in O or A, but it's an adjective. So if I want to say he has been sad, él ha estado triste. She's been sad, ella ha estado triste. Remember, adjectives that end in E are good for a guy or a girl. And the plural would be tristes, plural. Example, they have been very sad, han estado muy tristes. I just love these lessons because we review a lot of elements that we've already introduced, and we introduce new elements, and things pop up, and we mention them and we practice them a little bit, and so when we get to a formal lesson, you'll already have kind of an introduction to it. All right, let's come down here to these. We already learned about reflexive verbs. We know that verbs that end in a se, if you see them listed in the dictionary, like to fall, caerse, to get married, casarse, to move away, like to a new residence, a new location, mudarse, and lastimarse is to hurt yourself or to get hurt. We know that verbs that end in se, the AR part is done ado, or the ER, the IR part is done ido. However, when you conjugate out that verb, you've got to take into account the se at the end. If the subject is I, it's going to be me. If it's you, it's going to be te. If it's he, she, usted, ustedes, or they, or it, it's going to be se. And if it's we, it's going to be nos. Let's look at an example. Let's take caerse, caído. By the way, caído happens to have an accent mark on the I to break up the diphthong. It's an exception, caído. If I want to say he has fallen, I would say, for he I'd take se, then I'd come then I'd take caer, take the ER off. We already took care of the SE. So I take the CA and put ido on the end and put an accent on the I, just for this one. Se ha caído, he has fallen. Otra vez, again, otra vez. Otra vez se ha caído, he's fallen again. Okay? I haven't fallen in a long time. Let's say you're talking about ice skating, right? Normally walking, we don't fall. But a young person to say, I haven't fallen in a long time, that could be valid when you're talking about roller skating or rollerblading or ice skating, for example. So that would be, I haven't fallen would be, no me he caído en mucho tiempo. No me he caído en mucho tiempo. Nunca means never. We've had it. Nunca. He has never fallen. Él nunca se ha caído. Él nunca se ha caído. Let's take a look at casarse. They have gotten married. They would take the se. It goes in front. Se han casado. I have gotten married. Me he casado. Let's go with mudarse, to move away. They've moved away. Se han mudado. Se han mudado. Talk to a friend. Hey, have you moved away? Te, put a te in front. Te has mudado. Lastimarse, he has hurt himself. Take the se for he. Se ha lastimado. He has hurt himself. I have hurt myself. Me he lastimado. So we've gone over all the verbs except these on the far right cluster. These are the irregulars in Spanish. Like I told you, there are thousands and thousands and thousands of verbs in Spanish. But we're talking about, what do we have here? 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. There's only a few more that are irregular in Spanish of all those thousands of verbs. But they're so important because we use them on a daily basis. Hecho comes from the verb hacer, to do or to make. Hacer, done would be hecho, or made, hecho. I have done the homework. He hecho la tarea. Okay? They have done a lot. Han hecho mucho. Dicho is said. Okay? La verdad is the truth. V-E-R-D-A-D. I have told the truth. This is told or said, dicho. He dicho la verdad. She has told a lie. Una mentira. M-E-N-T-I-R-A. Ella ha dicho una mentira. We have told the truth. Hemos dicho la verdad. Visto is seen. Ver, to see. Seen. Have you seen the movie La Película? ¿Has visto la película? I haven't seen the movie. Yo no he visto la película. Notice I chose to use yo, personal preference. I could just say, no he visto la película. Now, abierto, you've seen it hanging on signs in front of a store. It'll say abierto, and they turn it around and it says cerrado. It means open and closed. As an adjective, it means open. But as a past participle, it means opened, ed. For example, they haven't opened the store yet. No han abierto la tienda todavía. Has it opened? A new store being constructed. Ha abierto? Has it opened? Ha abierto? Have you opened the letters? ¿Has abierto las cartas? Escrito, written. Escribir is to write. Escrito is written. Have you written the letters? ¿Has escrito las cartas? Puesto is put. I have put my money in the bank. He puesto mi dinero en el banco. Where have you put your money? ¿Dónde has puesto tu dinero? Vuelto is returned, like from point A to point B. Dad hasn't returned from work yet. Papá todavía no ha vuelto del trabajo. Papá todavía no ha vuelto del trabajo. Talking to a friend on the phone. Have you returned? He was on a trip. ¿Has vuelto? Now, muerto is in parentheses because it's a reflexive one. We have to use one of these with it. If you want to say it has died, it would be se ha muerto. They have died, se han muerto. Unfortunately, some trees got infested by some kind of beetle and it killed the trees. They've died. The trees would be se han muerto. Now, devuelto is the same as vuelto. They both mean returned. But this is a person returning from point A to point B. Devuelto is returning an object. Have you returned the money? ¿Has devuelto el dinero? ¿Has devuelto el dinero? Okay, now let's take a look over here again in this middle cluster. It has snowed, ha nevado. They haven't arrived yet, todavía no han llegado. It has started, ha empezado. We have bought a house, hemos comprado una casa. I have lived in the mountains for 5 years. He vivido en las montañas por 5 años. Estar, I have not been there. No he estado allí. Reflexive again, they've gotten married. Se han casado. They have moved away. Se han mudado. And they've gotten hurt. Se han lastimado. Up here at the top, it has rained. Ha llovido. I haven't eaten. No he comido. They have left. Han salido. I haven't slept a lot. No he dormido mucho. They have sold their house. Han vendido su casa. And we haven't gone. No hemos ido. Like Magic Mountain or Disneyland or Disney World, whatever, some amusement park. We haven't gone. No hemos ido. I haven't gone. No he ido. Have you gone? ¿Has ido? She hasn't gone. Ella no ha ido. He hasn't gone. Él no ha ido. So we know it's a two-step process. We know that the first step is has, hemos, on. We also know for a fact that anytime you have an hado, ido word after haber, it's a past participle, but I don't like to use grammatical terms. If you have an hado, ido word after haber, it's always going to end in o. However, if you have an hado, ido word after estar, then this hado, ido is going to change to agree back to whatever you're talking about. And then our verbs, llover to rain, comer to eat, salir to leave, ir to go, vender to sell, dormir to sleep. Nevar, snow, llegar, arrive, empezar, start, estar to be, vivir to live, comprar to buy. Casarse to get married, mudarse to move away, lastimarse to get hurt, caerse to fall. Here are our reflexive pronouns, me, te, se, and nos. Ya means already, otra vez means again. And our irregular hado, ido words, if you will, or past participles, hecho is done or made, dicho is told or said, visto, seen, abierto, opened, escrito, written, puesto, put, vuelto, return, like from point A to point B, muerto, died, devuelto, returned, an object to somebody else. All right, that is how you say what you have done or what has happened. Now, like we said, there's a gazillion verbs in Spanish. These are just a selected few we use to help teach the lesson. As you build up your vocabulary base, then you can just take what you know and put it right into the formula and take off and say what has happened and what someone has done. Okay, that's it. Until our next lesson, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Lots of material. Just keep studying when you can. Pull out your phone or your tablet in the car when you got dead time, just sitting around waiting for someone, or you're in the park having lunch, pull out your phone and do some Spanish studying right there. It's a good opportunity. And remember, if you're interested in a phrase a day for Spanish, you can go to Instagram, YouTube, or TikTok, and just in the search bar type in Soy Yo, Profesor Pablo. Soy, S-O-Y, yo, Y-O, soy yo, Profesor Pablo. Profesor with one S. Soy yo, Profesor Pablo, to get a saying a day. And then I'm going to talk to you more about if you go onto, you just type in your search bar on the internet, Profesor Pablo Spanish Learning Systems. I have a 500-page system online, and I have a limited pricing. I've lowered the price, and I have a discount for my YouTube learners here with Learn Spanish with Profesor Pablo. Soon I'll be getting all that information to you. Everything that we teach is in written form, over 500 pages, and there are these types of lessons, the communicative lessons. There's grammar, there's vocabulary, there are grammar charts, there's a verb dictionary, there's thousands of useful expressions alphabetized, right? There's dialogues, thematic discussions about people, places, and things. It's chock full of everything you would ever need to know or want to know in the Spanish language. But we'll talk more about that later. But right now, this is where it's at. Learn Spanish with Profesor Pablo. These lessons are, even though they go on for a bit, they can be quite compact. Again, if you get this after a few minutes and you know it, then move on to the next lesson. Listen to it again and again, or however much. If you need to listen to it for 10 minutes, maybe 15 minutes, maybe the whole 20-some minutes to get it. But whatever it takes you to get the lesson, that's all that counts. We don't care how long it takes. We care that you learn the lesson and achieve your objective of getting closer and closer and closer to communicative fluency in Spanish. All right, so much for that. We'll see you soon. Hasta pronto. Hasta la próxima lección. Tengan un gran día. Hasta luego. Bye.